Ladies and gentlemen, our first speaker for today is a gentleman that I'm actually really looking forward to listening to. I haven't listened to much of Darius's work, but I'm looking forward to hearing him now and then connecting with it in greater numbers going forward. So Darius is a prolific OBE explorer, respected teacher and philosopher, dedicated to unravelling the truth of the unseen realms and the other side through the out-of-body state.
Okay.
His profound insights, along with transformative experiences, have positioned him as a leading figure in the exploration of consciousness. He's on a mission to show people that the other side can be accessed at will, right here, right now. Ladies and gentlemen, please warmly welcome Darius J. Wright.
Okay. Cool. So, first I want to start this off by saying everything I'm going to talk about here has to do with who you really are. Everything. So, most of the people here, I would imagine, what is the main purpose why you came here today? I'll just ask that. Anybody could answer.
To know myself.
Know yourself? And anybody else? Anybody else? You said love?
No, I said to grow and connect. Oh yeah, always love, always love.
Okay.
Stay in contact.
Yes. Most of the truth that you're looking for is already within you. And I know you heard that before. I know that's cliche. I know that's something that you'll hear in a lot of communities. And that really leads you down a path of nowhere, because if you don't know where to search for it, really, you'll be like, okay, well, truth is within me. What does that really mean? Am I truth now? Do I do things negative and bad? Am I still truth in that state? Now, with the out-of-body state, this has been the most direct way to find who you really are. So right now, we are within a physical body. And in this physical body, we perceive life as just these physical senses, just what we're doing here in physical life, not realizing that everything that you're looking for is actually where you came from before you were born. You're never going to find truth here physically. It doesn't exist, because it doesn't derive from the physical body. It only derives from your soul, which is where you came from. So by searching for it here, you're literally trying to grab onto water. That's what you're trying to do physically. You're grabbing onto water, and that just slips through your fingers. The only way to really find it is through your soul. And now you can access your soul not through the out-of-body state. So it's not all just the out-of-body state. You can access it here right now. And there's something that I want to do for everybody. If everybody just closes their eyes for a second. Truth is love, and love is truth. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. Now, what does love mean? When you're searching for love, typically that means, people think that means, okay, I love somebody else, or I try to love this, or I try to do that, or that, and that, and that infinitum. But the very act of trying is actually not love at all. The very act of trying to love somebody, you never go to somebody and say, I tried to love you, because the other side of where you came from will never say that I tried to love you. It always just did, because it's in a constant state of that never stopped loving you. So I want you to imagine yourself, every single one of you right now, that you're back. Let's just say you died, and you went back to the source of all things, where all truth is manifested from. If it's God, if it's a deity, if it's the source consciousness, whatever you believe in. And imagine for a moment, if that source said to you, nothing matters. Nothing that you do, nothing that you ever done will do, doesn't matter. Now, one thing matters. And in that state, because trying to search for the infinite truth of things, what would be your first thought if nothing mattered? If no matter what you did, you were loved unconditionally, no matter what action, no matter what it was, what would be your first thought?
Why bother?
Well, you could say why bother too, yeah. Why bother? And that's also a valid point. But what would be your first thought, really? Relief. Yeah. And relief of what, though?
Constraints. The burden of doing.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of people now don't realize that they're already the highest version of unconditional love, but they're denying themselves. And they deny themselves because of the restraints that they have on themselves, these conditions. You must do this, or else I'm not going to love you today. Or you must act this way or do these things. But when you reach that place, the moment you reach it, you realize something very important.
Surrender.
You finally being able to be your authentic self with no judgment. And your authentic self is the highest state of love, full stop. In the moment that you stop being your authentic self, you deny yourself the greatest authority that you have from the other side and here on this earth. You deny it to yourself. You say, I do not love myself. You put conditions on yourself, restraints on yourself, and then you reflect those things onto other people, and you call that love. Do you see what I'm trying to get at? Okay. I know this is an out-of-body thing, but what's the point of out-of-body if yet you can't bring back truth that changes your life here? This whole thing that you're going to hear me talk about has nothing to do really with the step-by-step method to leave your body. Because if that's what you think it is, then you will lose the purpose and the reason why you do it to begin with. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right. I am going to ask this question again, though. One more time. What is the ultimate truth that everybody in this room is actually looking for? Because the reason why I asked this too, even though I did that exercise, is because we could all agree on that there is a finite truth to something. There's something that's physically there that never changes no matter what your perception is. And what is that? And if we could find that, then that gives the foundation, the truth for everything to be built on. People are lost now because they're lost in perceptional truths. They think that, okay, that truth was that truth yesterday, and that truth will change into this, and that's perception. Right now, everybody in this room, when you're here, your perception, just right now, from this 5 minutes, your perception has changed slightly, and therefore your truth has changed. Do you see? That's not the truth that you should be trying to grab, because that's the forever changing. So if there was one other thing, what would be that truth, the reason why you're presently here right now that you're looking for?
Who am I?
Who are you? Okay. Who do you think you are?
The eternal soul, a fragment of God,
Yeah,
expressed in human form.
that's it. The infinite. You're the infinite. So, my next question is, if you are the infinite itself, and you are the light itself of all things, the reason why this room has light within it is because of you. You would already inherently know that you have all the truth within you. See, this is another misconception. People say you cannot know it all, and then people will deem that arrogant. They would say you're arrogant for even thinking that you may know it all. But then I ask you this question. Are you not from the source of all things? So that means you know it all, if you connect back to it. Do you see what I mean? It's kind of like you can't know this. How could you know that? Well, are you not the source? Are we not all the source? Are we all not the infinite? And when you understand the infinite, you should understand this very basic thing. The infinite cannot be defined, it cannot be limited, and it has no borders, boundaries unless you place it on it. You cannot have ultimate expression of freedom with a limitation. So the moment you use mathematics to confine the soul and limit the infinite itself, you therefore place limits on yourself and what you're capable of. You put yourself in a prison, not realizing that it was you all along, but pointing the finger at somebody else. If you are literally God within this physical body, every single one of us, do you think for any moment, put away all your beliefs, but let's just say religious God figure, the source of all love, the source of all things. Do you think for a moment that any negative entity or being has control over that love? Okay, and that love is you, all within everybody. You see? So with every single person, that's within you. And the thing is, everybody wants solutions here. And I've thought of this a lot. I was like, okay, I'm leaving my body, I'm accessing time, I'm accessing the other side, I'm accessing home, what everybody's really looking for. So then why is the world the way it is now? And I realize it's only the way it is now because people are trying to find solutions to the problems with their physical mind constructs. When the solutions don't come from here, they come from the other side. And for people not to really understand that, you would say you're lost in you're lost in a position of not truth of this at all. Because we could only access about 1% of the frequency light spectrum. Why is it that every near-death experience person says, I've seen colors that I've never seen before, or sounds that I've never heard before? Why is that? Because the moment that you leave and you access the other side, you access the full array of light, the full array of all things physically. And it's more physical, more real than what you would ever experience here. So if that's so, wouldn't you say that the other 99% of that which you can't see has dominion and authority over this very 1% that you're experiencing? And what if that other 99% of all authority here and there was love? And if that was then love and you being your authentic self with no borders, boundaries, or limitations. Right now, a lot of people are here and sometimes they're, you guys are even sitting down and you may even feel uncomfortable in your own skin and ask you why. Why is that even present? And if you could start to break that down and get to the root of it, you realize that uncomfortability comes from judgment. You're afraid of being judged by another person, and you cannot have unconditional love with the judgment. So if the other side is unconditional love, yet you're still judging yourself thinking that there's judgment in that way, like I said, you're denying yourself the greatest power that you actually have. And that is the truth. That is 100% the truth. Would anybody disagree with that? Is it turning out to what you thought it would be? Okay. Because a lot of you, like I said, you may think that I'm here just for OBEs, but again, I'm going to state it again. There's no point in having these things if your intention isn't to access that stuff, what I'm saying. It becomes pointless. Cool, you're going to leave your body, you're going to see your physical body on the bed, but where does that lead to? I want to go a little bit more into my story, but before I go into my story, so I could make it small or long, how many of you here have heard it before? Okay. Yeah. Okay, okay. This is, that's because that's a video one, so I can't. Okay, so I'm gonna go to this. This is very symbolic to me because it's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, and if it wasn't for this agreement that I made on the other side, I actually wouldn't even be here. There's no point. No point at all. I would have left a long time ago, through the out-of-body state, never returned back here. That to me stands for truth, integrity, love at all times when that's present, to speak in that. Cutting past all the nonsense, all the bullshit, all of the deception, and getting right to truth. My story starts off from a young child, very, very awake and aware of everything that this place was from 7 years old onward. I was having experiences that I couldn't articulate the way that I can now, or explain it with clarity the way that I have it now. These experiences were me leaving my body, seeing myself, seeing other entities, seeing the other 99% of light spectrum, angels, what have you. 14 years old, I was already studying how the whole military-industrial complex is operated, how the Federal Reserve banking system works, how your social security number is basically tied to what they call your value, your true value, how then they trade your birth certificate on the stock market. So 13, 14 years old, I was already studied and very well versed in all of those things. Yeah. So I realized, okay, well, the control mechanisms here are actually from they're from a lot of things, but really it comes from the control of money. Because what they've done is they have essentially tried to make an artificial means of the 0 point through currency. You yourself, the soul, is the 0 point, the infinite supply, the value of all things. And what they've done is they turned this monetary system into printing money, the whole Federal Reserve, your birth certificate, making you into a public entity, not realizing that you are the private person and you inherit all kingdoms within this reality that we live in when you realize that. And they've stripped that away from people through this false 0 point. Yep.
Can I ask you to define who is they?
Yeah.
Are they also part of source? Like this is God ultimately?
I mean, ultimately, yes. Ultimately, they are. But then you could say as well that they come from spirits. So we have three things. We have the physical body, we have the spirit within the physical body, and we have the soul. Now, who that they are, you could say, is us. But then it's also, spirits are of a thought form. So this is something that took me a while to understand and really understand what was going on behind the scenes, not what we could physically see here. So why print all this money? Why put us in this control structure? What's actually happening behind the scenes? And I realized that it was actually thought forms into negative spirits. That's what I saw, was because I have a thought right now. We'll do an experiment at the end of this, and I'll prove this to you. But we all have right now thoughts, and we're putting it into our electromagnetic field that we have. This is scientifically proven. In that field, you think that your thoughts disappear? It's bullshit. They're still there. Everything that you thought is still there. In your subconscious, all presented there, and that's including the negative things that you thought of. And these things could seem very real, these negative spirits, thought forms that you gave life to. You gave life to it, but not realizing that the spirit itself has no power over you. The only power it has is your belief in it. Because you, the soul, is the source of all things, the infinite, which gives manifestation to the physical body, which gives manifestation to the spirit and the memories. So a lot of the they, yes, they're us, but it's also us within that negative thinking mindset, creating these physical, you could say, conscious spirits that really have no power, but then have power in terms of the thought form of those that created it to also influence everything around us. And this is why people have certain thoughts that are not of their own thoughts. These are those negative spirits, other people's thought forms. You could say taking hold of certain people's fields unaware of it, because them not realizing how powerful they are, it's inside of their field, unaware of it, not realizing that it could be taken away like that. So that's the thing. But so they've done the artificial means of the 0 point through currency, through Federal Reserve banking. And I studied all this from 13, 14 onwards. Having all these experiences, trying to get an understanding, what is the point of this? So I'm here, I know this information, what is the point? So at 16 years old, I got to the point, and you needed that backstory because it wouldn't make sense. I got to the point where I was going to self-select myself out of here entirely. No point. And I made a command, and this is when I realized that the other side will bend to the will of your soul when you realize what the soul is, which is you, the infinite. It will bend for you. Even this place will. And I made a statement. I said, I command to know the truth of why I'm here, the truth of the purpose of this place. Otherwise, if you do not show me now, I will kill myself in the morning. I will figure it out anyways.
Wow.
Exact words. That night was the start of this journey, accessing home. Now, a lot of you guys may not really understand what this is when you're looking at it. This is where a lot of the biblical things come into play, where they talk about the four corners, this earthly realm and stuff. And it's exactly what I was shown and exactly what I saw. I was shown the beginning of every single soul. I was shown the beginning of myself, even though there really was no beginning, but I was shown that start, that first thought. I was shown all of the creations, through all of creation, including this one. I was showing how time worked for the first time, and I didn't understand what that was. I was just showing like these crystal glass, how time works, how it's not just a linear thing. You could go back into time, fast forward into time, all potentialities, all things happening, all at once. I was showing where this place was going to be. I was showing my life exactly where I am now, the things that I'm doing now, at 16 years old. And people in my life that I had no idea or concept of them at the time. I was just like, okay, yeah, I know this person or whatever. Like I recognize what they look like in that experience. And every single future event that I was shown, every single person that I stepped into my life was everything that I was shown from 16. And so this is why I have such a strong conviction in just, this is what it is. Because I know no matter, even if you don't believe me now, I know that every single person here, guess what? You guys are all going to die. Okay? So when you die, you're going to see this shit anyways. You're going to see all truth. You're going to see that you are the infinite. The soul cannot be limited in any way. That the ultimate truth of things is love. That we are all of it, and we have the potential to change all of it based off understanding who we are. You realize that the beings that have left your family are still there and still present. I've seen my Uncle Bob. I've seen people that have passed away in my life, physically touching them and holding them. And it was more physical than anything that I could ever experience here, because I was accessing the other 99% of that light spectrum. You see? So that's my short story. That's a very short story of basically from a childhood to now. And through these many experiences, I have figured out how to consciously leave the body. Now, this isn't something that is like, when I say that, you may say, okay, well, Darius, demonstrate it now. It's not something that it could be demonstrated in that way, because even to this point, to the age that I am now, it takes me like 5 hours sometimes just to put my body into the state to leave it, because it's not what you've been told in online communities with astral projection or any of that. It has nothing to do with that. It's not even close. This is quite literally a near-death experience. And this is why people have so much fear. They have fear of death, and they limit themselves from doing this. When you do a process like this, you are lowering your heart rate. I've got mine down to 29 beats, if not lower. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to lower the electromagnetic field of the physical body, which glues the soul in. This is why right now the soul's within your body. We all agree with this, yes? Yeah. Okay, so why can't you just leave right now? It's because of this electromagnetic field, which is keeping you glued in. But you leave anyways when you go to bed every single night. But you could consciously do this at will. And you could train yourself to lower the electromagnetic field of your body, lower your heart rate, where then you will come out of your body. You literally look at your physical body on the bed or wherever it is that you're at, and it's no different from a near-death experience. And many of you guys may not believe me. So then I asked you to look up testimony, I think it's 81. I have 86 testimonies now. But 81, it's David Ebel. He had a near-death experience. It's all publicly documented. He had a heart issue, pretty much died 2 times, I believe. Two or 3 times. And he had the controlled out-of-body state, and it was no different. So this is why I'm saying that the truth of all things that you're looking for isn't something that you have to wait to die to access that. That it's something that you can do consciously. There's no agenda behind this besides just sharing truth so people could see it for themselves. That's it. And then for you to spread that truth to other people.
When did you have your first study?
My first conscious one was 16. Where it's like that near-death experience. That would be the first one where it's like that happened at that moment, where I was fully conscious of what was going on. But I was having them from like 7 years old onward, just unconscious. I thought that I was sleepwalking sometimes, or something like I would be out of my body and I would be seeing entities and beings all around me, and I'd be like, well, what's going on? And then realizing I wake up. But it felt so physical to me, but I didn't understand it. Yeah.
I wonder what your Uncle Bob, what age was your Uncle Bob when you saw him?
Everybody holds a blueprint when they leave here. Now, not everybody stays the same and they look the same, but I've noticed, even myself, I look pretty much identical to what I look now in front of you guys, including Uncle Bob. It's 30 years old, seems to be that perfect sweet spot.
So he looked like he did when he was 30?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, he was paralyzed, he was walking there. So he's paralyzed physically, he was walking, so yes. Yeah. And like I said, the contact was so physical, so physically real. Yeah.
Is it dangerous? I've been to a couple of meditations where people have done a guided meditation for astral travel, but then it's ended up really disastrous, like they haven't listened to the recording all the way through and people have suddenly gone off and then, I don't know, crashing back to Earth. Is that a dangerous thing to attend something like that?
So is it dangerous to leave the body? This is essentially the question.
Well, if you're not in a safe space where there's a guide at least that's going to be, I don't know, holding space for you.
Okay. So if you, all right, so that question's already heavily invested into fear things. So my thing would be, in order to do this properly, you need to eliminate all fear. Because when you come out of your body, think about what I said before. Your thoughts are projected in your space. So I wouldn't even do this if you're in fear, because you're going to have your thought forms that you think are a real thing attacking you and trying to kill your soul. And you'll come out of your body and you'll see these thought forms that you have, realizing that they actually have no authority over you, that it was your own self-manifested boogeyman.
Yeah.
You see? So there's nothing to fear with any of this at all. You, the soul, never dies, and nothing could control or entrap you, the soul, unless you believe it to be so. Your belief gives the will for it to be so, because you are the creator of all things. Yeah?
So is it possible for people to go into experiences like this and then, like, when they come back, they're really in a very confused state?
If they're in a confused state, yeah, then guiding them to understand what has happened is important. Because this is why, all right, for me personally, through all these experiences, I realized the more you leave your body, you come back and you keep on doing this, you naturally turn on what they call the junk DNA within your physical body. Now, I'm not going to overly sarcastically bloat myself into things that I can't do. I'm going to give you factual things that I have done, not going over on this other side that I can't demonstrate. Near-death experience people, when they die, okay, they come back, they're speaking another language. Why is that? Or they could play a musical instrument out of nowhere. It's because when they've come back into their body, the physical body was able to turn on what they call junk DNA or reactivate certain things. So there's many times in my life now where coming back and with people unfamiliar with this, they'll lose their minds. They'll think that they're going crazy because you could tap into thought forms very easily. This is very sensitive to me. I'm very sensitive to it now more than I've ever been before in my life because of this. So it's like when you leave your body and you see thoughts, your thought forms, other people's thought forms, it's a tactile feeling, like you can actually feel it, you can sense it. So when you're in the body, you recognize that. And you can start to see these things. And I've done that a lot. I've also, there's many people in my life that could attest to this, where I said, this person's saying this, they're talking about this, they're about to do this, and bam. Or having an experience where I'm like, okay, I can't prevent this from happening. This is going to happen, future time event, bam. So people that do these things and they see these things and they come back and things start to turn on within their physical body, yeah, it's important to guide them to understand what it is. Otherwise, they'll turn into a schizophrenic or whatever, you know. All right.
I've got a question. So I've been witness to many people that have passed.
Yep.
Died in their physical bodies. That's what I used to do. That's what I do. And for a long time, I believed that, you see the light, you see the people, they're here, they're waiting for you, and then the last few years I've been learning, whether it's right or wrong, that that's actually a trap to bring us back, and that we should go to the no light, to know where, to the darkness. Does that sound or resonate?
Well, even that. Okay, so again, all right. Speaking truth, nothing but truth here. Even that itself is not necessarily true, because once you understand what your soul is, you could go towards the light. You could go towards any trap, any negative thing in all of creation. It cannot touch you unless you believe it to be so. Yeah. So if you have the belief that you need to go towards the darkness, not towards the light, or you'll be reincarnated and blah, blah, therefore you will, because your soul is the ultimate authority on the other side, just like every other soul. And that's the truth. That's the truth. Anything else? Yeah.
I have two, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
The first one is, are there no surprises in your life?
Sometimes there are. Sometimes there still are. I'm not 100% bulletproof, but I've been really spot on with a lot of things, and I planned beforehand to make sure. But sometimes just hit me. I'm like, man, I can't believe I didn't see that. You know? Yeah.
The second is the delivery of your message, and I've been hearing this message in various ways for a number of years now. They're so beautiful and so truthful that it resonates completely. How can we work with you, can I work with you to help learn and spread that message?
Read my mission statement, watch the interviews that I've done, watch the testimonies of other people, and then pretty much you just share that truth aside based off your own experience. That's it. That's how you do it. That's
a number of your videos, but I've never really heard that message that way.
Yeah. Well, it's different because I'm in person now. Other interviews are always trying to. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. I think I covered. Unless there's another question, I'll move on to another. Yep.
Can you describe that? But why the hand?
Yeah. So this has to do with. Well, it's actually 3 experiences. One, when I was 16, not realizing that I agreed to do something, that then, like I said, all that stuff that I was shown is what I'm doing now. The second one is when I saw my Uncle Bob for the first time, and I was like, okay, what am I supposed to do? And he said, do the great work. That's waking people up to the other side. And then the third time is when I was at a point in my life, I was just like, okay, well, this isn't really spreading. How do I spread this message to people? And then I actually made a soul agreement from myself to basically make sure that I do everything that I possibly can, even though people may not understand it, to make sure that I try to reach as many people as I can. And I made a soul agreement to do this. Put it this way, if I don't do this, and if I don't spread love in the way that it was shown to me there, then that is the greatest pain that I will feel on the other side, period. It's really that simple. It's that simple, and that's it.
So sorry, would you mind?
Yeah.
This is brilliant. Just when people are asking questions, if you could repeat it, because the question can't be heard at the back.
Okay, yeah.
Just around when you talk about fear and how that's sort of our, like, we can create the thought forms and then we can be presented with that when we leave the body.
Mm-hmm.
What would be, and I've watched quite a bit of your experience or what you've shared in the fear element of it. What could you suggest where instead of get rid of the fear or you can't have any fear, I'm curious, like, if you could expand on that, how we can actually put that into practice when I feel that fear has, and even other people's thought forms that we pick up on. What would be, like, is there practical advice you could give around that? I just say
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's that. So how do you get rid of fear is basically as simple as this. Do you believe that you die? Do you believe that your soul dies?
Oh, no.
No, okay, well then that's it. So then see, fear comes from, all fear comes from the core of it. When you go back to what fear actually is, it comes from loss. That's the truth you could say fear is born from loss. But the thing is, when you're home and you understand who you are, when you're in love, which is what that lady said as well, love, well, guess what? There is no fear. There is no loss. There's no regret. There is no judgment. None of those things exist in love. But all of those things exist in fear. So realize that your soul never dies, and you already inherently know that. And that nothing could ever touch it unless you give it the authority to. Something could touch your physical body, but nothing could touch your soul. And once you realize that, all fear should just diminish. And if you have a lot of physical fear in terms of physical possessions, understand that you don't take anything with you. This is a very, very short experience. So you're trying to grab onto water, if that's the case. You'll never find it here because you are the water of infinite joy. And you're trying to grab that which you already are. You know? That's it.
She talked about thought forms.
Yeah.
You've heard about an egregore, where thought forms all form together to form an egregore, which is the multiple of those thought forms.
Yeah.
And they then contain a force, and that can be positive or negative.
Yeah, 100%. So that when a group of people have multiple, like, you know, they're participating in this thought form, that's 100% correct. This is what they also use in the music industry too. Yeah.
So we're forming an egregore here today.
Yeah.
We're all thinking together.
Yeah.
We're all forming an egregore.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Guys, if, for example, we hear about psychic attacks, and I sometimes get attacked in the night by a being, and I've got paralysis and I'm shit scared, is that my own fear? It's not something that's being put on me or in me?
Well, I'm going to say this. So even when you are getting attacked psychically or what have you, the thing is, those things could only ever happen to you when you yourself isn't in the state of full divinity of love, because nothing can ever even touch that state, ever, full stop. So I'm going to go back to God for a moment, just because that's the only thing that I could articulate this properly. So God itself, unconditional love, not the distorted one, but unconditional love, all loving, etc. Do you think for any moment that being, that imaginary being, ever any attack towards it touches it? No. So it's like when you purify your water, your signature, your energetic field, not one thing negative or parasitic could live within it. This is stuff like, you know, okay, cool, I'm talking about this, but this is stuff that I've actually experienced. This is coming from experience of leaving my body, facing these things. Actually seeing these things. I got to a point where I was so afraid of certain things that you just said. I was so afraid of all these beings attacking me where I thought for a moment that there's a possibility that my soul could die. It's ridiculous to believe that. But I thought that my soul would die, and I said, kill my soul, I don't care anymore. I'm fucking sick and tired of this. Like, kill it. And then disappeared. And that's the moment I realized that statement that I made, nothing could control or entrap you, the soul, unless you believe it to be so. And then that's when I saw my Uncle Bob. That's when I went to certain records, universal records, what people call them. Started to get my own memories back because I was the one putting myself in a prison, in a box, not realizing that. So think about what a thought is too, by the way. A thought is the moment you have a thought, you put a thought out there, you give it limits. A thought form is already a limitation because it's a prism of light that is a confinement. So that thought form is already a confinement, but you yourself exist out of all thought forms and confinement. You make all those things. So realizing that as well, you are literally, you have control over everything, all the energetics of things. Okay. Yes?
How do we recall what we came here to do? Do we ever get to know that, or is it only in near-death experience?
You don't need to have a near-death experience to recall that which you came here to do. It's a simple way to figure it out. Are you following your passion?
Yes.
Then that's what you're supposed to do. As long as you are, if you feel for a moment that you're not doing something or you should be doing something, then you're off course. Because when you're on course, like right now, all through these talks, everything that I've done online, sometimes I don't necessarily want to be on certain interview platforms, but I realize it's necessary to spread the message to other people that need to hear it. So, but I'm in fulfillment in that way. Like there's nothing that I'd rather be doing other than this, you know, even with all of the negative things that come with this, you know, because you're pretty much walking it against everything. The governmental systems, all of it, because all of it's based off control, you know. So, yep. Yep.
So, do you believe that we all have a soul agreement or contract before we are born into this life?
Soul contracts do exist. Yes, they do.
Do we agree to them? Do we create them?
Yeah, you as a soul make a agreement. You could call it a contract, but it is an agreement. And this is where, for instance, 16 years old, I made an agreement, and then bam, bam, things were already pre-planned. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have authority over your life, and you can take that agreement away because you are the infinite. You see? But this is why deja vu comes into play. People have deja vu. And they're like, well, wait a second, I've been here before. It's because you're actually remembering a pre-planned event.
So we can change that.
Yeah. Yes, you can. You can change it as you go if you desire to. Yeah. Like all of these things, by the way, that you'll find I had to unprogram a lot of nonsense that I had within myself, including like thinking that I was beholden to something. But realizing what the soul is, you have authority over the 99% once you realize that. It doesn't necessarily manifest itself in the 1% in terms of the way you may think, but the majority of the time, you are in that 99% of light and awareness, your soul, and that's where all of the change comes from. So you have dominion over all of it, literally all of it, even to stop the agreements if you so choose to. Yes.
I just got a question. How do you quickly purify yourself when you see those bad entities? Or how do you actually quickly purify yourself?
So how do you purify yourself is love and love alone. That's it. So it's, so I'll ask you this question. Let me just go back to, okay. I'll ask you this question. See, we have it backwards. I had it backwards. We think that when we see a negative entity to kick it in the face or what have you. But I realized through my own experiences is that if love is the ultimate force in all of creation, love would not kick even the most evil thing in the face. Instead, it would reach his hand out and help it. Because if that wasn't the case, then love itself would not be the ultimate force in all creation. Evil would be. So when you reframe your mind instead of how do I do this in that state, reframe it in the way of love it. Because the only thing that's going to do is it's going to return it back to love itself. And even if it is a thought form or a negative spirit from somebody else, then that, see, all thoughts, all negative spirits are actually, we project it into the field and it's still attached to the original source of the creator of the soul that made it. So when you even send love to that spirit or that thought form, it ripples back to the very source that created it. Do you see? This is why when you then hate it more and bring it down, all you're doing is you're actually giving more power to that very thought form. Yeah. Yes. Yep.
On the possible note, the day that control us and manipulate us, put us in this not good world, are they in the same position for us and they're just leaving the evil, even if it is righteous, or are they the embodiment of evil? Are they obstacles for us to overcome?
Yeah, so I understand this. I understand what you're asking me. Are they overrun by themselves? Are they part of this whole thing? This is a very complex question to answer. So I'm just gonna, every time when I don't want to beat around the bush and I go right to the truth of it, I'm gonna just speak that. So the they themselves, yes, they are us. They are souls that have been lost. They are lost in fear, torment, in the spirits that are within them, their thought forms that have actually taken over them. these individuals are in such a state of fear themselves. Think about what fear does. The core of it is loss, but then when you fear of losing something, what is your next thing to do? Is to control everything. You see? So they are so lost, they think that there's an end to them. They are so fearful of themselves that all they desire to do is control everything. They're overrun by that thought form. Many people participating in that, which is basically putting them in this vortex, a negative vortex, which is just spiraling down deeper and deeper and deeper. The only way to fix even that is love. That's it. So because trust me, I know what they've done. I'm completely aware. I don't even think many of you guys would even realize how aware I am of who they are and what they've done, from the banking system, from the sacrificing of children. You may think that I'm just saying these things because I have no experience, but I have direct experience in actually seeing it and targeting it out of my body. So I've seen, there's nothing that someone could tell me that will shock me, because I've seen the darkest aspects of this creation. And I realize the solution is not the solutions based off control. Because right now we say, control them, put them in prison, do that in court. Yeah, physically, you do these things. But it's not control. Control is not the solution. The solution is love. If this system will always exist in controlling other souls as long as love is absent. That's it. Okay.
One more. So this morning when I was smudging, wafting with the goddess spray, and we're all wearing our crystals, we don't need any of it.
No, you. Okay. So again, I'm not. Okay. Let's go to Daddy. You'll see this behind every interview that I do, and it's like I said, it's for a reason. A lot of people may think, oh, he's part of the Freemasons or something. But okay, so crystals. Do we need crystals? Do we need all these things? Listen, I understand, and I'm not trying to. That's not the purpose of why I'm here. But once you realize that you are the ultimate authority over all things, then why give your power away to a crystal to make a crystal have authority over all things? It's you. You give, listen, your belief in the crystal gives it power to even do that which you believe it to do. You see? This is why the placebo effect is a real thing. Why is it a placebo effect? People believe in a pill that actually isn't the real pill, but it heals them only because of their belief. So all of the things outside of you are the distraction, and that is the truth. But if you need those temporarily to realize that you are that very crystal, that the soul even, what came first, the crystal or the soul? Okay, so you even give life and light and creation to the crystal itself. Okay, yes?
Yes, thanks. Darius, I completely understand or understand the concept you're talking about. It's defeated in love and the perpetrators of all these horrific acts. The one thing I get stuck on is how do you show love and defeat things with love, the upside and the bad side of love, when they've perpetrated what they perpetrated on these innocent children?
Perfect, dude. And I love this question. Okay. Yep. So the question is basically how do you protect children that are being sacrificed yet be loved? But we have, okay, I'll just say the Trinity. There's and I'm just making up a word here for understanding, but follow this whole thing through. We have the Trinity, and the Trinity could be basically 3 levels of truth based off where we are. And you could call it something else. You could call it the 3 layers of truth. I'm just going to call it the Trinity. I'll just say the first layer of that Trinity is the source itself. That's where it is in a state of unconditional love, loving all things at all times. And there's no such thing as a good or bad thing. It's just an experience, because that experience gives you a certain perception of wisdom that would never been birthed unless it was experienced. And that is what makes everything possible and everything manifest in all of creation, making you, the soul, limitless to do as you will. And that is the source, the underbelly of the first Trinity of truth, the highest truth of all things, which makes everything possible. The second layer is the soul aspect, where you, as on the other side are the soul, you realize that love is the highest form of frequency, and therefore you do not want to do anything outside of love, because that is also the pain that you'll carry for yourself. And then we have the physical aspects. Well, but the second part, the soul, cannot be touched. Your soul cannot be touched or imprisoned. It's impossible to touch a soul. But the third aspect of that Trinity is the physical body. In the physical body, we could be harmed. And so here, we filter down that love from the first Trinity, the ultimate truth of all things, down to here, and you actually realize that you can actually protect children, protect things that are done bad with courage itself. Because a lot of people are thinking that, well, I feel anger, but anger isn't love. And yes, that's true. Anger is actually not love. It's the opposite of love. Fear is the opposite of love. But when people feel this anger within them, it's misunderstood, because you are already operating in the state of love. You understand it already. And it's the courage to do something good in the face of bullshit. And that's that third Trinity. I'll just go back to that. Yep. Yep.
Do you have a step-by-step guide to teach you how to get into that feeling and state of love? Yeah. When you thought a certain way for all your life, learning not to follow that pattern anymore.
Okay. I'm just going to tell you the same feeling that I got from the other side. This is what was shown to me. Margaret, I'm going to step into what was shown to me on the other side for you. No matter what you do, good, bad, evil, even if you don't even love yourself, I will always love you. There's not one thing that you could ever do, past, present, and future, into infinity, that will ever stop me loving you. And that is what is felt there. And that brings down all of it's burdens. It's basically this I have to put these walls up. I have to protect myself. But there's nothing you need to protect about yourself, because you're loved for who you are. All of the masks, all of the judgment that you feel from others doesn't exist. And you are accepted for everything that you do, even the things that you don't love about yourself. And that is the truth. Yes?
Controversial subject. Archons, reptilians, you come across them in your travels?
That goes into every soul, every being has and I'll answer it this way. It may not be the way you want to hear it, but every soul, every being has the ability to cause harm and do things nefarious, and also make those spirits to do nefarious things as well. Archons, even me. Right now, I could turn off, well, I can't actually turn off love. I could pretend to turn off love and do those things. But it's again.
It's a choice. Sorry. Yes, sorry.
All of these entities, every single one of them, including ones that are humans, in the banking, the government, they're all part of that same energy, all part of it. So you when you ask that question, archons and stuff like that, you're trying to identify one particular thing. And when you try to do it in that way, based off a race, you will never find it. Because it's the energy signature which gives that energy to even exist. And what is that? Fear, control, loss, in the spirit of. That's it.
Who are the people in the image?
Souls, us. Yeah. That one there would be another soul walking around, just making creations based on its will. Its ultimate pleasure to do whatever it wants and desires to do.
Space is everywhere in that.
Yeah, that's why that, like, you see that bubble on the ground? Like, that's sort of what I saw. So, like, all of these different creations it's like they're all in this construct. And you, the soul, could walk into these constructs and these creations to have whatever experience based off the infinite. Based off the infinite. Listen, this is why, okay, this is why. This is going to sound new age and a bit tacky, okay? And this is why this particular experience gives you, the soul, a certain perceptual wisdom that when you even return home, you actually don't return back to home in the way that you think you are, because you are something completely new and different. The highest form of, how should I say this? The highest form of honor on the other side is the being that holds more light within it. And where does that light come from? It comes from how much love it is within itself. So when you taste, the moment that you taste the opposite of love, then you have more power in that experience than what you had without tasting it. And that is the truth. Again, I'm trying to stick to just core truths.
You can't know sweet unless you know sour. You can't know good unless you know evil.
100%. Yeah, you can't know right, wrong, or yep, exactly.
Unless you know the other.
Yep.
You don't go there and live there. You've got to know it.
Yes. This is why the whole biblically thing, biting the apple or whatever, it's the same thing, basically written out in a different religical whatever sense, but it's the same concept. Spirituality calls it duality, yin yang. Biting of the apple. It's the same stuff, just based off how you want to view it. Based off how you want to view it. So how much time do I got left? Okay, perfect. Okay. I feel like I'm just getting started. Okay.
5 minutes, Darius.
Okay. Yes. I'll do her first. I'll do you. The purpose of this life is to be born into a creation, to have a temporary experience of what you're not, pretty much was what I was showing. Now, this goes into, again, you're going to think that what I'm saying is contradicting myself, then do all things in love and blah, blah, blah. But it was never supposed to be the way it is now, where it's the extremes that it is. You've had certain souls that have been able to, let's just say, come online or access some level of truth and then use that to control every individual here for the sole purpose of realizing that your will, everybody's belief actually manifests this place to continue whatever capacity that they want it to be. It's why they have people watching news. It's why they don't want you to realize that you, the soul, have the ability to open up multi-dimensional gateways here and there as well and create the bridge. Yeah, so anyways, yes?
So
when you say they are doing this, it seems to infer that they have access to ultimate knowledge and truth. And
Not all of it.
then, and then they're consciously going, oh, we now understand ultimate knowledge and truth, so therefore we're going to control. Whereas it seems that they're more just operating out of ignorance. Because if they really understood what you're describing, they would not do that. So
Yes.
there's no,
Yeah.
that's
So.
not an intentional thing.
Yeah, I get it. So you're 100% correct. They don't know all of this, because if they did love, then yes, it would never be there to begin with. So they've come to a state of awareness of certain things that, well, first of them is the 0 point, that the soul is a 0 point. And they use your will for other creations, into spirits, into the multidimensionality of you. This is why the CIA has funded millions of dollars into psychics and remote viewing, because they're actually studying these things. So they're pumping money into these things heavily. Yeah. This is why they understand how let's just say the atmosphere works. This is why they do cloud seeding, weather modification, weather control, et cetera, et cetera. So they have an understanding of this, the reality that we're in is a realm, and that it's based off electromagnetic fields, et cetera, and that you yourself, every single soul, is an electromagnetic field which gives life and light to this very creation. And they manipulate your will to then bend it to what they want to experience based off of only control, because they're lost. And the only way to fix that, the only atomic bomb, is love itself towards them.
So they understand the mechanics, but they don't feel the love.
Everybody, okay, even these people that are temporarily lost, I'm going to go back to the religious side of things, the truth, which are going right to it. Even if they went to God itself, unconditional love of all things, even them, no matter what they've done, they would feel it. They would feel it. And this is what I'm trying to say, that even though they're doing bad things, I'm completely aware, protect, do all those things. But the only way to really change them is to experience love from the other side. And you have to bring that through fully and completely. That's really the only way to change this place. And it's not in a way because, like I said before, physically the physical body could be harmed, where it's just love from a distance. Oh yeah, kumbaya. No, not necessarily that. It's also standing for protection of what is right for everybody, as well, with understanding like that whole Trinity layer of truth that I've explained. And this is why I said before, it could get very certain things won't make necessarily sense if you're only connecting it to one aspect of yeah, okay, cool. Yes.
This is a bit of a different question. I'm just curious how you go knowing what you know, and I've explained to you that I've got experiences too, but I've been doing spiritual work since I was young, and the whole thing of living that way and then making money. I've made money successfully, but I've been challenged on, I'm nearly 40 and I've never been married, never had kids, which is that's completely fine by me. But owning things and having like a home, and I've kind of travelled around and done my work, and everything's been amazing and in alignment.
Yes.
But I've been really challenged lately on the questions around finances. And I know that sounds silly.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people in this room have probably got
No, and I 100% understand that. Trust me, I'm not ignorant to that at all. The thing is they have, this is what I talked about before. When we could understand those three levels of love and truth and what layer we're at, you try to bring that first Trinity through to the highest state, because that's the highest form of change. Now, I understand what they've done. They've taken away housing from everybody. They've created this artificial means of the monetary system. They stripped everything away from you guys, including me. They've taken everything. The thing is, you were born here. That means you have the right to inherit, or the right to this land. It's yours. And they've taken that through titles. The thing is, they hide behind titles. Titles of authority, appeal to authority, legislation's titles, which dictates everything that you can and cannot do. And it's only us, the people, that allow that to be so. And I know that you guys here are totally aware of that, so I'm preaching to the choir. But it's, again, how do we reach everybody else? Because me saying that to you here really isn't going to cause any change, is it? We already know this. We know what was been taken from us, but how do we actually manifest and get those things back? Is trying to spread it into communities and areas that haven't heard it before. That's the only way, because it's all right. Who would say that they're the most spiritually aware here? Raise your hand. It doesn't matter. It's like a. Someone, come on! I got rid of my ego. Yeah, well, I thought I got rid of my ego yesterday, so that means I'm better than you guys. So come on. Who's the most spiritually aware person here? No? Okay, I'll pick one. You are. Okay, so she's the most spiritually aware person here. Now, do you think that it would be worth your time trying to save somebody that's one step behind you or 10 steps behind you? Where is the energy? Where should it be focused? What'd you say?
The easy one would be the one step behind.
Okay, but that's where we're all going wrong.
That's right. I was going to say the 10 step.
That's where everybody's going wrong. You see, the person that's one step behind you is going to figure it out very, very quickly.
It's focusing on the 10 steps behind, and I've done it wrong.
Yeah, but it's the more, okay, it's the more people in positions of power or influence that do that and focus on the 10 steps behind, then that will help transition a greater wave than focusing on someone that's pretty much already there. It's a waste of energy, even though it still is beneficial, but it's trying to reach all the other people that are lost the most, pretty much. That's what needs to be done, and that's what has you'll find me on doing interviews on certain platforms that I'd rather not be on, but only for the sole purpose. I realize that, okay, well, that's the person that needs to be reached the most. That's it. Yep.
What are your thoughts on NPCs?
NPCs. And non-player characters. So everything, I'll answer it this way, NPCs, everything has let's just play on the idea that an NPC is a real thing. Even the NPC itself has the very spark of the creator that thought, that the soul that thought that into manifestation to begin with. So it's still tied to something. Everything that we experience, everything is real in terms of it's all coming from somewhere. Everything is coming from somewhere. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Really.
So everything has a purpose.
Everything does have, well, purpose is, yes, everything does have a purpose, but purpose is also what you give meaning and purpose to as well. You know, a kid gives a lot of meaning and purpose to a toy teddy bear. You don't. So, okay. Yes?
Can we avoid transitioning into the body? Can we not just live in the love, soul, energy? Why do we transition?
Yeah, so can you, yes, see? So can you just live in the soul energy? Yes. So basically, before you came here, all right, just follow this through. Before you came here, you were there. You were on the other side. And your soul is more physical than your physical body that you have right now. Like your soul, you think this physical body is physical. You feel your hands and you're touching things. But this is only 1% of the frequency and light spectrum. The moment you come out, your soul is more tactile, more real. When you touch things, touch loved ones, is more real than anything you could ever experience here. And everybody returns there. Me, you, everybody. Everybody's going there. So I hope that answers it. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Whoever just.
I have a question. Because a lot of you say about when we choose to reincarnate, we come to Earth. Why do people have disabilities? Why do people have cancer? What is the causation of cancer?
Parasites. So cancer comes from parasites and heavy metals and fluoride and what have you. So all of these heavy distortions within the physical body is also part of what they've done to the physical body with vaccines, parasites, mucus, trying to build mucus within the body. They've fucked up a lot of the brain chemistry too. But the thing is, a lot of these physical elements don't necessarily matter. They matter physically for people when they only identify with the physical body, but when they realize the soul, they could chop off my arms and my legs, and I will still have the full will of my soul present in this physical body. So that could be pushed past. When you identify with a lot of the physical elements in the physical body, then you will be limited to those physical elements if you don't understand the soul's will in you that's within it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Currently, can you tell me how many times you have OBE experiences? What sort of frequency?
How many times have I had OBE experiences?
Like, do you do it as a common practice, or?
Yes, yeah. I used to do it, or you could say very boldly, trying to do it every single day. And I realized that there's a negative consequence to that. One of them is I don't get sleep. When I do the practice, how much time do we have? Because I'll get into this. 20, okay. When I do the practice, sometimes depending, why do I have these? They cancel out the blue light. That's the only reason I have them. So today when I was here, and yesterday I was trying to do it just to pick up on the general potential future events of this conversation and where I should take it. Things that I should say, go into, and I had a whole slide ready to go into things, and I'm like, it's not the right energy. It's not what people are looking for at all. That would just be very boring, But if I do everything correctly, it takes me about 60 minutes. But realistically and truthfully, it takes me like 4 or 5 hours. And sometimes if I'm really committed, I will tip into the 7-hour mark. Like it's a deep conscious meditation. It's such a level of meditation that they just don't want to do that to that extent that long. But when you push through it and actually commit to it, you'll have the 100% fully conscious out-of-body state where it's no different from a near death. No different at all. So, I do them now because of that, because I need to do interviews and sometimes I'm tired or speaking, etc. I pulled it back to like twice a month, 3 times a month at the most.
And you said your intention, obviously, like you said, you've done it so that you can get wisdom for this session.
Yes. So certain times I'll set a target. This is what I want to access. In the beginning, I had no idea that I could do that. And I was just like coming out of my body and just like, oh my God, there's a being here and there's this there and whatever. But you can navigate all of creation because you are creation itself. Everything bends to you. So it's like I just set the target on that which I want to access. and I get the information. And funnily enough, I said, Margaret, I asked her to read her name tag to me because I can't actually read. I'm highly dyslexic. So like I could only read words that are like 3 in a row, but when it goes past 3 in a row side by side, they actually start to turn and twist on me. So I'll read it completely differently. It's very strange. People would say that's a disability. It's actually a gift that they've also done. Yeah, they've also had it biblically. Look into scriptures. Why is scripture written in poetry, poems, 3, 5 words in one sentence? Because you had a lot of people that were dyslexic, able to see past the illusion of life. Yeah.
So I know that that's one of your own visions.
Yes.
And I'm seeing physical beings. My question is about past lives. So if many of us probably have, I believe, lots and lots of past lives, when I go to that beautiful place, am I in a physical state or am I just light? And do I see, or so say for example my dad passed this year.
Yes.
I might see my dad. How would I see my dad? But how would how can I explain? All the past lives that I've experienced are in one soul, right?
Yes. Yep.
So do I meet those? Or say my children are still here? Oh, I've lost it.
Okay, hold on. Look. I got it. So I'll use my intuitive abilities of what we all have, and I'll trace the original thought that you were having. So basically, the feeling of what I got there is you're trying to identify when you see past lives, what is it experienced as, and secondly, are you all of those past lives here right now? Okay. First, are you all of those experiences here right now from all your past lives? Yes. You are the highest version of yourself here right now in forgetfulness. So the reason why you act the way you act, do things the way you do things, everything is basically the highest version of you in forgetfulness of all of your past experiences that basically all of that wisdom, all of that knowledge is present in the physical body, the soul. Now, you could bring all of those things more present and act more in love, integrity, yada, 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 the more that you detach from this physical life in terms of the possessions of this place and step into the soul and soul knowing. Now, when you experience your past lives, it's physical. It's like a 3D, almost hologram. I've experienced it 2 ways, as a 3D hologram or as if I was physically there in the physical past life experience, but not able to make new events in it or change anything. But I was just viewing that, Yep.
Is there a way to protect your area so remote viewers cannot enter?
Yeah, you can. I mean, it's a good question. It's a advanced thing. I don't have time for it because I got 2 minutes. But yes, you can. Yeah, yes, you can. There's a lot of things that you could do. Just realize the moment that you come out, you access the 99% of all light in all things, and that's also a lot of things that you think is not possible. I tell you, everything that you experience now from the very oh my God, that was a miracle, is actually from the other side. It's that other stuff that you can't see that actually just makes things happen here. And you could start to influence that as well. And I won't, this is where you have to stay in integrity and love, because at all times. Yep.
Do you have to consciously choose an act of protection, or are you protected by love?
Well, again, if you want to protect yourself, you can. But again, like I said, because of the time, only 2 minutes, I wouldn't even have the protection, because I already know who I am, So again, just. But do we have time for one experiment though? This may take just like 5 minutes though. Could we grab 2 different colors of cloth, like a white cloth or a black cloth, anything that's just 2 different colors? Do we have anything like that? Yeah. So we'll use that. Do we have another one? Okay, we'll use that. Okay, so I need someone to come up here to demonstrate this. It's not going to be me. No, it's not going to be me. Someone come up. All right. I want to demonstrate to you guys, now, I wish I had more time, but how powerful thoughts actually are. That we think what we think is not picked up on, but it's actually, we could actually feel it. And the more people put a thought into something, even her herself will feel it physically here. And so you could say this is the most foundational level of what they call remote viewing or tapping into telepathy and thoughts. You want to sit down there? Okay. Just put them on your shoulder. So lay that one there and lay the white one there. Okay. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to do a test run. Just to show you guys, now she may get it wrong, she may get it right. This is where you try to create a vortex of energy where you could, typically you practice this for like 30 minutes, get people into that energy space to be open enough to it. Like a theta, you're getting your brain into theta. So try to put yourself in a meditative state if you can. When you feel the pressure on your shoulder, you will tilt your head to where the pressure is. Okay? Okay, so I will basically give you guys a signal. I will either point to this one or that one, and then that's what we'll focus on. Okay? So just think nothing, nothing, nothing. It wasn't this one. It wasn't that one. Maybe it's that one. Maybe it's that one. You don't know anymore. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay. You can't make that shit up. Okay. All right. We're gonna, all right, nothing, 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 repeating your head, this one, that one. Don't do it unless I say we're ready yet, okay? Okay, so we picked it, so everybody in the room, don't do it yet, just put yourself into a deep meditation as much as you can. Everybody put your energy and focus on that, almost as if try to imagine yourself, your full body weight sitting on that side of the shoulder. And when every single one of you guys have it, I'm going to count down from 10 down to 1. And then when I get to 1, I want you to just tilt your head to whatever direction it is, okay? If she gets it wrong, that's completely fine. Like I said, this is something that you could experiment with at home. Okay? Everybody just put all of your energy there. This is Telepathy 101. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, just think nothing, nothing, nothing in your head. 5, 4, 3, 2, nothing, nothing, and tilt the head. There you go. Perfect. So this is like techniques like this. Again, I've been in a group places where we're doing much more advanced things than that. That's just something to, that's like a warming up process. But then we go into colors. We start to advance it. 3 different colors, numbers from 1 to 9, and we increase that intensity to where they're then in the room, in the environment, where they're picking these things based off connecting with the thoughts of every individual and the energy, and then they get so sensitive to energy where they start to step into the first stages of remote viewing. Well, then they can see things behind the person. You put a number behind the chair, and they can see past that. And then this is the baby steps of the process of a full-blown out-of-body state as well. But it's just all different levels. But that's just one that I wanted to demonstrate. That's it.
That's it.
Cheers, cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, Darius, well, let's give him another big round of applause. How blessed are we? How grateful. I'm just sitting in full gratitude here, brother. Thank you so much.
Yeah, cheers.
Get him along for next year. Tasmania.
Absolutely.
Get up now.
Be interesting where we all are next year, hey?
Yes.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it would be.
I have a fair idea, and it's all good. We've got a bit to get through. Enjoy your break, guys. Be back here at 11 a.m, please. Thank you very much.